Okay, so now we come to the painting that I'm currently working on at the moment. Now, this is one that I am struggling with at the moment. I'm having a lot of trouble, and I'll explain why. Here we are as it is at the moment. Okay, obviously a portrait. This is my cousin, and this is my aunt. Okay. Now, where the trouble arises is at the moment my aunt isn't a very good likeness. Obviously I know my aunt quite well, so I can see the problems in it, and for about a week now I've really been struggling with this because I can't quite find where the problem is. So why is this? Well, at the wedding, obviously this is from the wedding, the photographer didn't take a photo of my aunt and my cousin together, obviously bride and the mother of the bride. So I've been asked to paint this so there is a picture of them together. Now the problem is, obviously, many photos of the bride, hardly any of my aunt, okay? And the ones that there are, like her eyes are closed, or they're blurry, or they're not very good, generally, for this purpose. So, when you come to a problem like that, how do you tackle it? Well, what I did, I collated all the photos together. I found the best one of my aunt I possibly could, and then I tried to find among the many of my cousin one that would fit to it. I photoshopped them together and then readjusted them so that they could work together in a painting. Now the problem is, obviously, you've got to get one where the light is going in the same direction. They've got to look like they're relating to each other, not just like one's looking this way, one's going that way, or whatever. You've got to really hunt down and get them together. So that was the first major problem. The second major problem that I came to was that there was no photos where the light was going in the same direction. So, having found the best two photos that would work together as like a pose, as you can see I have, they look like this, shoulder to shoulder. The light was coming this way on my aunt and that way on my cousin. Obviously you can see what I've done, so I put an open window in between them so that feasibly the light could be coming from different directions on each of them. Problem one solved. Bosh. Okay, so having thought about my aunt for some time here in this painting and how I'm going to tackle it to get it to be a likeness, when you're really struggling, a good tip that I occasionally use is to take a photograph of the painting, okay, open it in Photoshop or some similar program, okay, adjust the opacity so you can see whatever is underneath it, and just layer it on top of the original photograph at the same size, and then you can immediately see what parts are in the wrong places, what needs to be changed, where the tones are incorrect or anything like that, and the problems will jump out at you. Why this doesn't look like her at the moment is because my one photo was pretty useless and I had to kind of invent most of the detail, really. Now that I have added my cousin in afterwards and there's much better photos of her, I've got a reference right next to it of skin tones, of like a proper painterly effect that I can then go back to this and apply to it once I've got the features in the right place. Usually what I do, and what I did indeed do with this, was layer a grid over the original photograph and print it out. So I usually do inch squares, so quite small, and then I use a watercolour pencil, water soluble pencil, draw the grid onto the canvas and then translate it over. For things like a portrait where everything needs to be right from the beginning, I will almost always do that, and it solves a lot of problems getting a likeness because it's usually there already. It's only when you've got a problem of a useless photograph that this comes out. This problem arises. Okay, so we'll leave it there for now, and I will come back to you when I have used Photoshop and found the problems and solved them, Slightly worried about this one at the moment, but it's going to get there in the end, okay, because it's not going anywhere until I'm happy with it. One final note: in a portrait, obviously you want the main focus to be the faces. Now the problem arises about the edges, the edging. You can see I've just covered like a base coat around it at the moment. It's not all filled in. This area is completely untouched, as is this whole side, and the rest of it in the centre is sort of unfinished at the moment. Now you want all the focus to be on the faces in a portrait, and to some extent the dress, okay? So what happens is you'll make the background like a neutral-ish colour. You want to have some colour in it so you can like darken it towards the edges a little bit and deepen the depth of the painting, and so that the portraits leap out of the canvas and look almost 3D. With a portrait, you want the warmest tones to be in the shade of the face. Okay, so you can see around the face of my cousin here, around the cheeks, and down here where the shade comes in, the colours are really quite warm, actually almost red, purples and things like that, but the highlights want to be as cool as you can possibly make them. Like this colour here, it's not white, it's actually cerulean blue in some white, so it's kind of a bluish white, so it's very cool, cold even, and you apply that onto the highest points and the brightest points, and then you start getting that 3D aspect and the realism into a face. Okay. Also, a good tip is to add some greens here and there, some pale greens, mix them into your mixes, and it will give it a much more fleshy tone to like peaches and pinks and things like that, and you'll get a much more realistic effect when it's finished. Okay, so enough rambling. I'll be back to you when I have fixed this. See you later. Cheers.